Hello ladies and gents, another episode of today's not Eskimo Joe and Isolated Frontier. I don't have a name for today, but anyways, honest casting with the Heart Blues. And today we're going to kind of talk about a little bit of what went over this weekend. I haven't honestly done my homework because Sunday was my birthday, and so I do have some info for you, but probably not as in-depth as I would have liked. So I know there were, I believe, 3 regionals that occurred. It should have been, I believe, 1 in Barcelona, 1 in Canada, and I'm going to go with Montreal, but not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it. And the last one is in Kansas? No, I lied, not Kansas. North Carolina, my apologies. No, we had Texas also. Was there 4? There may have been 4. Alright, so I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But we're going to talk about 3 regional decks. And the 4th one I actually just no longer recall. So, actually no, okay, I remember now, So I want to say North Carolina was won by R2P2 again. But I believe it was R2P2 versus Rainbow 5s in the final. Top 4 was, I guess, 3 R2P2s and a Rainbow 5. So, thank you, Rainbow 5 guy. Or girl. Or actually, no, it was a guy. I know it was a guy. For keeping it strong. Proud Papa. Proud Papa. But yeah, so that'd be interesting to kind of see where he was capable of taking the deck to be capable of actually beating R2B2. I had immense issues, like trying to take the deck down. It's possible that with the alterations that the deck has made to try to combat like Qui-Gon cannons better, as well as mirrors, that it has removed some of the cards that would kind of just dominate R5. So like Deflex could have been taken out of R2P2 because they just weren't nearly as good. They obviously hit pose 2s, but like did you really want to cast Deflect on pose 1? Sorry, 1 second. I had to concentrate because some dude was just straight up going over the line. Had to, like, minor evasive maneuvers where you kind of just go to the end of your line and scare the crap out of the guy next to you so that this other person doesn't, like, jam into you because they don't know how to, follow the lines. Come on, people. It's like grade school. Stay in the lines, baby. Stay in the lines. But anyways, so yeah, having Rainbow 5 be capable of beating R2P2, because he had to do that in semifinals, was pretty great. I know there's still best of 3s, which is what makes it tougher, because R5 could really just steal a game, like via re-rolling and just hitting the nuts. So my wondering is if the R5 player definitely in theory would have to have played very tight and been a very good player. You can't ride that deck on the hot hand. Okay, you could win a hot hand the entire tournament, but the odds of staying a hot hand the entire way are slim to none. And maintaining Bala's life in the EAW format was very tough. So it'd be interesting to see where he went. We geared more towards jetpack and trying to go higher damage upgrades. Even though they were kind of like worse off versus Force Illusion and harder to maintain base sides, because we needed to just hit really hard and fast, and that was the only way to do it. But so if that deck list pops up, that'd be interesting to take a look at, and I may do that just because I like R5 a lot. So R2P2 takes another win. Have not seen the deck lists, and so if I'm correct, North Carolina won by R2P2. Then in Montreal, this was also pre-EAW. We're gonna get to Texas later, and Barcelona is completely slipping my mind right now. I cannot recall what won there at all. Maybe it was Sabine Cannon. Sabine Cannon sounds about right for Barcelona. But that could have even been the week prior. I'm going to go Sabine Cannon won Barcelona. So, sorry, person, if you weren't the Sabine Cannon player and it was like somewhere else, don't hate me, please. But I believe it was Sabine Cannon, won Barcelona. May have been 26 people. I'm gonna go with 26, but I really don't know. So, if you check for the list, I want to say it's on the swdestinydb.com. There should be, I think, a Sabine Cannon list that states that it won Barcelona. I'd say check for it. I don't really have much data for that, but it was EAW as well, from my understanding. So we'll go straight to Montreal. So now Montreal, how would I say this? Someone kind of just flipped the table. The person who ended up winning was using Maserati. It was Elite Hera, Elite Maz, and then I believe it was Ezra. And I think their upgrades were Chance Cube and Second Chance. And then after that, it was like the suite of vehicles. No Z95, but, you know, T-47s. One of the 4 drops, one of Falcon, but then like double Y-Wing and double U-Wing, obviously, because those are the better ones. But I want to say, I thought it was like 12 targets, maybe 11, because it would have been 2 T-47s, 2 U-Wings, 2 Y-Wings, so we're at 6. 2 quad jumpers, we're at 8. And then one of each of Ghost, Black One, and Falcon. So that's 11. That sounds about right. I don't think we're missing. Yeah, we're not missing any of the other big ones. So they had 11 vehicle targets for Hera. That deck list, I believe, is also on the DB. So definitely go check for it. Talks about the deck a bit. Talks about Recycle pretty much being trash the entire day. And had already cut one. It was only running 1 because it wanted less dead cards. But the theory was relatively sound. R2P2 starts out slow with damage and builds into it, which is the same way that Maserati plays. Since Rainbow 5 has taken a downturn in usability and like showing up at events, Maserati can actually try to flourish and thrive because Rainbow 5 just completely obliterates Maserati all day, like every day. It's like near impossible for them to even try to deal with that, because Maz might die round 1, and if not, dies like right at the beginning of round 2, and you just daisy chain with Bala. So like that's a huge problem for the deck, and since it's not around right now, it's a great time for it to try to play out. Had like the full set of like tech teams and rally aids and whatnot. So but anyways, so yeah, Maserati taking a regional. Oh my god, things we wouldn't have expected. The Sumaza guy, the gentleman, pretty much also, I believe, wrote in that he believes the deck's probably tier 2, but because of the way it interacts with R2P2 and the slow decks, that he's in a very good place since R5's MIA. And this just goes to show you don't have to sit there and only play tier 1 to win. Knowing your meta, very huge. And, you know, playing tight, obviously. You don't want to, like, if you play loose and you start, you know, I got this game, blah, 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 I'm going to win, and then they, like, make a comeback, and you're like, oh, I lost, crap. Which happens to all of us, including me. So, that's great. Now, Texas, on the other hand, played with Legacy's Legal, as well as the starter decks. So, apparently they had a bunch of the product available. And now, the thing is if you're wondering how it was, you know, Legacy Legal, the way they had viewed the events was this. It was like, all right, well, this set's not out, and it's not legal, but if you had the product available for people to purchase and be capable of doing this stuff, and we don't mean like you have one box, oh, Legacy's legal, we mean like, you know, a lot. Like, people could go in, buy whatever, and, you know, get their deck set up. Now, the thing is it doesn't declare that you have to have singles, which kind of turns into a potential pay-to-win theory, but that's neither here nor there. That doesn't... people do whatever they want to do. But anyways, so because Legacies was legal, we saw a whole bunch of new decks. Some of you may have heard, and some of you haven't seen much. So I'm definitely check the article that this is going with. I should try to have a breakdown of at least the archetypes for the top 8 for this. But I know that top 8 included one person playing 7th OTK. They went 7-0 in Swiss. Unfortunately, they had to play against the new Rainbow 5s, which I think people are calling like Mother 5, in top 8, and that is by far the worst matchup for it, because there's just too much damage and things could just go magically wrong and you lose. So 7th OTK got punched in the face by R5 that I think, oh actually I'd have to know that it slipped in his 8th place. So yeah, nothing you can really do there. Now, so we've got we know two decks that are already topped. There is, if any of you guys followed us for a while, you should probably remember the old click BB-8 issue, or I think clickbait. So people say that sometimes we write stuff and then people go in, and it's kind of like the random clickbait articles where you got to click like 30 slides to really find out the information. And while for the most part I will write catchy titles at times, we usually do give you the information of whatever, you know, we're talking about, and not just like allude to it and not exist. But this one time long ago, NJ Cuenca wrote something about like a BB-8 and the Meta Destroyer, because a gentleman had won the Store Champs, the Team Covenant Store Champs, and I believe his name was Eric Wainwright. Yeah, so he was running Elite Ray Padawan, and he had a BB-8 in his deck, which is pretty unheard of from everybody else, because BB-8 is not particularly amazing. It's a very interesting card for the one cost, because it's the longer the longer the game goes, the attrition from it could be very versatile, because the special will allow you to re-roll itself in another die. So like in theory, if you're getting a damage over the course of 3 rounds or resource or whatever, like 3 value for the cost of 1 resource is very strong. But yeah, so guy plays BB-8. We title it like BB-8 Meta Destroyer, and then never talk a single word about the BB-8, besides like maybe hinting at it like, what the hell is this as a BB-8? But so this same gentleman goes and wins the regionals, I believe it was Texas. And now the interesting thing here is he ran BB-8 again. Yup, this guy is a hero, a man amongst men. I don't know, man. I don't know if I could go into an event and really have a BB-8. And I just realized I totally forgot to tell you people that you're gonna have wipers on for a long time. Oops. So I'm currently under a tunnel, so they're off. You don't hit to hear them, and that's why my face is all red. But that's gonna come back on shortly. Sorry, don't hate me. Let me think. Okay, yeah, so he's BB-8, and the deck he was running was Elite Ayla, Padawan. Yup, doing it again, baby. So he ends up taking it down, and pretty much because the starter decks were also legal there, he had access to like the heirlooms and R2-D2, new R2-D2, not old R2-D2. New R2-D2 is actually very, very good. It's not as versatile as C-3PO, but it does its best to try to be. So like it has its own merits, because the special lets you draw a card and then pretty much focus another die. And it doesn't have a blank on the die itself. So that's very, very good. But yeah, so he takes it down with Elite Ayla, Padawan. And yeah, like, what can you say? New format. It's great. Also, I want to say he played against Poe Yoda, or Poe 2 Yoda in the finals. And that was like a whole like special chaining deck, and had access to retreat. So any of the very slow decks would have had problems with retreat, because they could set up very well, multi-chain like their round, And then there's like, oh, well, yeah, hey, here's another action. We're going to the next round, bro. Sorry. And you're like, oh, crap. But yeah. So, very interesting from that standpoint. And, what else is there? So, yeah, I think that's all I have. Like, let me see if I can try to recall any of the other decks. I know there were... I didn't hear much from, like, Qui-Gon Yodas or, like, Zeb Yodas. There was a lot of, like, 3-character Yoda. I'd assume there was some, like, Maul decks there. I didn't hear anything about Tarkin 7th. So that one's kind of interesting. Like, I'm curious if... The main dilemma being that, like, a lot of people didn't have the full... You know, the full amount of legacies. Like, sure, someone playing Elite Poe, Elite Yoda most likely has those, because 2 Yodas is a lot to come by. But, like, the winner may not have. Like, realistically, you could run that deck primarily with the starters. Like, he would have needed Ancients and stuff before, but could have just bought 2 starters, updated the deck, and been good to go. Probably definitely had a bunch of testing before that, though. So, like, I wouldn't say that he just sat there and was like, I'm going to play this today. But, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything in other news. We're at top 32 for TTS Season 4. My match will be Wednesday. I expect this to come out Tuesday, so it should be tomorrow. I may have updates on that later in the week, depending on what goes down. Still have to go and talk about 4-wide. Hold on, it smells terrible here. What the hell is this? It feels like I just drove through, like, Trash Central, but that wasn't trash. That just felt like a massive amount of fumes. So, I'm hoping, like, when I get a mile down, the fumes aren't there and it's not like something from my engine. Trying to think if there's anything else relevant. We still don't have a Rivals date as far as I know. I think the Portland... Actually, I'm not even going to talk about the Portland event. I actually don't know if it's EAW or Legacies. I'm assuming it's Legacies legal. But I go check in on that. Artificery is the one pretty much running that event as far as I know, or like they're local to it, or not Artificery, but like Pearl Yeti or Sean. That should be like kind of his regionals as far as like that's where it's going. Don't know his correlation with the store or anything, but he's done an active part in trying to make sure people are aware of it and, you know, going down to it. So I expect that one to be a whole big event, and you're gonna see probably lots of Tarkin 7th, so whole lots of Yoda X decks. I don't know. There's lots of interesting stuff going on right now as well. Like old meta wise, we're kind of like trying our best to shake up R2P2. It seems like, and some people are succeeding, and some people not so much. Like people are always like, oh well, 50% of the rooms R2P2, you know, it's gonna win, and it's like, well, if 50% of the rooms R2P2 and 25% of the room is counter to R2P2, and the other 25% of the room is just not very good at the game, like, R2P2 in theory should lose. But you will have those times where those decks match up against each other, or that one person runs Rainbow 5s and demolishes all the stupid rookie pilot decks, and they're just like, sorry bro, deuces. Yeah, I don't really have much for you. 7th OTK going 7-0 in the Texas thing was awesome. Trying to think, I thought I heard something else going 6-1 that was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so we'll stop this one here, because I don't want to just keep saying I don't know and ums and maybes. So if in the next like 15 seconds something comes to mind, I'll keep talking. And if not, thank you guys for watching, right? Okay. Oh, yeah, so one other thing I did want to talk about. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. We were short about 30 people around this time last week. And so now we don't have any issues with the whole monetization YouTube thing. Like, we don't really I don't even know if we've ever made profit from this. Like, it's probably sitting somewhere, like, waiting to be extracted. But we just kind of leave it there. So, like, the small things add up. We'll go buy lunch or something. So we do appreciate it. Thank you for subbing. Thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. You know, we love you guys. Those that are in the Discord, thanks for being active. Thanks for supporting us, I guess. And thank you to all those that visit our website and chat with us and respond with us, and all the people that, like, come hanging out of rooms on TTS or Discord or, you know, other stuff. You guys are all great. And if you guys are native to Massachusetts, that's where all three of us from the Hyperloops are. We're going to start trying to get events running again. Not necessarily like by us, but just in general. Our locals have been pretty much non-existent. And we're working on getting this one place in Brockton on Saturdays, probably every Saturday, and then another place in Quincy every other Sunday maybe. If there's a lot of activity, then maybe it could be every Sunday. But if you're in Massachusetts, I'd say go to Facebook and look for the Star Wars Destiny New England group, and join it, so that once we get all, you know, stuff running, because there should be like a box event in 3 to 4 weeks, that you'll be in the loop on it. So that's pretty much it. Hyperloop out. Honest Sarcastic getting out of here, or technically just saying bye to you and then sitting in traffic some longer times. But you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching, and I'm sorry that I had to have wipers on. Deuces.